Have you ever hiked for hours, hoping to get your best photos, but when you arrive there, everything sucks? Yeah, it happened to me as well, more than you may think. That's why in the last 6 years, I've mastered 2 simple techniques to have great pictures, even in these conditions. And also today, we're pushing one of them to the limit. So, get ready to see something crazy that no one has ever tried before. Are you? Then, follow me. This is unbelievable! When you don't need fog appears, and when you go for it, there isn't. Anyway, it's almost gone, but it's unbelievable! Well, during this period between March and April, where I live in Germany, the conditions for landscape photography are the worst. The nature is still not awake, so all the forests are colorless, the snow is all gone, and it's still cold. But for me, coming here to take some pictures is my favorite moment of the week. When this crazy world stops for a while and I can enjoy a bit of the peace of the forest. It's the moment that I relax and I get all the energy that I need for the rest of the week. But anyway, since these days are the worst for landscape photography, I also try out to take some pictures at home. But nah, it's not the same. I don't enjoy it as much as here. So in the end, I need to go out. And that's how I ended up masterizing these 2 photo ideas, going out and trying different approach in landscape photography. So, let's keep walking. Oh my god, now it's raining, it's snowing, it's not the best day to go out. Alright, the first photo I have today is quite simple, but now you have to start looking at things in a different way. And to do that, we only gonna need a long lens, not even a macro lens, which I don't even have. Yeah, today we are going to learn how to make an abstract close-ups in landscape photography. Alright, the first thing that we have to do in these situations is start looking for interesting things, like line, pattern, shapes, textures or colors everywhere. You never know where you can find a nice picture. Actually, you won't believe this, but I found out this rock in Google Maps. I saw that the surface of this rock had a nice texture, so I came here to check it out. And for example, the photo that you are looking right now, it was my first photo using this technique. I just was walking through the forest and the combination of the colors caught my eyes. So I grabbed my camera and I took the photo. As simple as it sounds. Long time ago, I heard something that it made me think. A famous landscape photographer from YouTube said that he wanted to photograph things that nobody realized. Or something like this, I don't remember well. And I thought, yeah, I would like to have also unique photos that no one has. But I also thought, if no one photographed it before, probably they are not quite interesting. But some years later, I found out the exact words for what I wanted to do with my photography. The purpose of art is to make the ordinary extraordinary. And this is what we are gonna do today, make the ordinary extraordinary through our photography. And the key to become the ordinary extraordinary is to keep it simple. We have to avoid all the distractions and the composition must be clear. For example, if we found out a nice textures online that we like and one of these is different, instead of adding to the photo, don't do it. That different line or texture will distract the viewer from the rest of the photo. Also, when we are looking for our composition, don't forget to try out different angles to find the best composition and make the photo more dynamic. Also, be sure that you have the best angle and perspective for your photo before you use the tripod. Otherwise, if you start looking with the camera on the tripod, you won't have enough flexibility to find the best composition. In my humble opinion, the key to have a great photos in these situations is to have the best composition. I mean, the light is flat and the subject isn't something spectacular. So, the only tool we have to make something ordinary extraordinary is the composition of our photo. If something doesn't feel right or you're not happy with your results, can be the crop of the photo. It couldn't be the first time that I wasn't really happy with the results of the photo and just change the crop and suddenly the photo worked. Well, in case that you have the same problem as me, I would try the crop one by one. The symmetry of the square format can help us to find balance in our photo very easily. Actually, I would say that most of my close-up photos are in the square format. Pretty much that's it. I would say to keep your eyes open, because you never know where you can find an epic photo. Alright, it's time to move for a better place for the second photo day of today. So now, let's go! ¡Uy, que me caigo! Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. I am recording this 3 weeks later. The other day, when I was recording the other part of the video, I lost one leg of my tripod. So when I realized that I lost the leg, I spent the entire time looking for it. And when I found it, it was too late to explain this photo technique, which is my favorite one of this video. Also, if you go back in the video, you can see that one leg of my tripod is missing. And last week, when I was already here preparing the setup of the video, the camera fell down and the lens was completely broken. Well, the more I use this photo technique, the more I like it. Actually, one of my favorite photos from the last year, I did it using this technique. Yes, we are talking about ICM, Intentional Camera Movement. The best thing about ICM is that you can use it everywhere, every time, because in any condition you can have great photos. Well, now we have fog, which is unbelievable because I didn't expect that. But as I told you, you can use this technique in any conditions. And this photo technique is very easy to do. You only have to increase the shutter speed and move the camera while you push the trigger. In this case, we're gonna start with a vertical move, for the simple reason that in our composition the trees have a strong and dominant vertical lines. Also, for this photo, I'm gonna use a shutter speed of 1/10 of a second. And if you wanna try ICM for the first time, I would recommend to use the same shutter speed. Also, if you're in the forest like me, don't use a very wide angle lens, because otherwise the sky would appear in your composition and it's quite bright comparing it with the forest. Right now, I'm gonna use a 50mm lens in a full frame camera. As a composition tip, I could say to leave a space between the trees, to avoid cluttered or busy compositions. And also, I'm gonna use the contrast between the trees and the background to create layers in our photo. I mean, the trees has more light than the background. And the best way to do ICM is first, move the camera, and while you're moving, push the trigger. So, here we go! Pretty cool, actually. Also, I took the same photo without fog, using the same movement to see the difference. And 1 week earlier, I did the same, but with the warm light of the sunrise touching the trees. Of course, when the conditions are better, the pictures are nicer, but here you can see that ICM works always. And now, why don't we try another move? What I like about ICM is there are no limits here. The only limit is your imagination. So, here I go. Interesting. And this is my favorite photo of the Puntland series. This movement gives a mystical touch to the trees, and adding the fog gives the photo a really nice ethereal feeling. Alright, I'm gonna prove you that you can use ICM in any conditions everywhere. So let's go over there where is a platform with a nice view. Alright, here we are. I think I'm gonna use the long lens and focus in the castle over there. So in this case, using a long lens, the camera is gonna be heavier, so I'm gonna use both hands to make the movements. Also, I would recommend to use a shorter shutter speed, because when you use a long lens, any small movement it will affect a lot to our composition. Also, as I told you before, I'm gonna focus on the castle and in the town behind. I'm gonna use the different colors of the buildings to create layers in our composition. So, here I go! Nice! So in case you try ICM for the first time and the results are not what you expect, don't worry, happened to me as well. I mean, to make these photos, I tried out several times until I liked the results, but I didn't show you all the tries to make the video more dynamic. And now, let's go back where we were before, because we're gonna take ICM to the limit, like no one did it before. Alright, what I'm going to do now is to throw away my camera while it's taking a photo. To be honest, I have no idea what is gonna happen because I never tried before. You know, if you wanna become a better photographer, at certain point you have to innovate. I am sure that the most of the times you are gonna fail, but at least you learn something, and when you nail it, it's gonna be amazing. Anyway, if you are watching this, it means that something amazing is going to happen. Well, I was thinking that I don't wanna put on this my Canon EOS R. I already broke a lens last week, so I'm gonna use this camera. At least, if this camera breaks, it's not gonna be so painful. Anyway, I do not recommend to do this to anyone. You can break your camera quite easy. And in case you wanna try, be sure about your skills catching things. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna put the 2-second timer, gonna push the trigger, and after 1 second, I'm going to throw my camera. So let's see if I catch my camera before it crashes on the floor. So here I go. Interesting. Well, to be honest, it's harder than I thought. It took me a while to have a decent photo. Most of the times the camera flips on the air and appears only the sky or the floor. So, in case you want to improve your photography with real examples in a very simple way, don't forget to subscribe. Agur eta horrengo arte!